Hey everybody, Dave Bazanko here, and welcome to day 18 of our 30-day self-motivation challenge. Have you ever felt stuck in life and just kind of wondered how can you pivot or change without losing your motivation? It's crazy the amount of men who want to make a change in their life but have no motivation to do anything about it. According to the research, 50% of men feel completely frustrated with their financial situation. Over 60% want to make a complete change to their life. And over 80% of men aren't even engaged at work. Coming up, I'm going to be sharing a 6-step process to help you pivot like a pro so that you can stay motivated to keep moving forward. So we've all been there. We've all been in a place in our life where we felt stuck, maybe falling behind, and we just didn't know how to find the motivation to get started to make that change. Today we're going to be talking about belly fat, and hey, why not? Most men could stand to lose a few pounds, or at least if that's what you're hearing from your doctor or your wife or your partner, this video might be of interest to you. So how do we tackle this problem? Well, we have to have a 6-step process for pivoting properly so that you can stay motivated and keep motivated to keep moving forward. So it all starts with step 1. And step 1 is recognizing you got a problem. And right now I've recognized after the holidays, I've eaten way too much. And here's the fact. The plain fact is you can't outrun a bad diet, and food and exercise aren't fair. You can't exercise and continue to eat a poor diet and think that your weight's going to change or think that your belly fat's going to change. The problem is that most of us don't count our calories. Most of us don't pay attention to what we're consuming at all. So how can you possibly try to manage your weight other than going on a diet that might be a short-term fix, but once you hit that target goal, then what? You go right back to the way you ate before. So the problem for me right now is that I'm eating the way that I used to eat when I was training for a full Ironman. I used to be able to burn more calories than I consumed almost on a daily basis. So I was able to get down to a good weight that I felt comfortable with, but now that I'm not training with as much volume, my brain still wants to eat like I am. So the problem is I'm eating too much food and I'm not tracking how much I'm eating. Therefore, I can't make good decisions because I don't have all the fats. That's the problem. Step 2 is hypothesizing a solution. So a good hypothesis statement sounds like this. If I do this one thing, then I expect this outcome to happen. So in my case, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going back to using MyFitnessPal, and I'm using the dietary portion of MyFitnessPal to track all of my calories that I'm consuming every day. The idea is that, you are burning about 1,500 calories a day just living as a human being. If you exercise, you need to be able to figure out how many calories you're burning during exercise. I know that for when I'm doing a 1-hour bike ride, for every hour of cycling, hard cycling that I do, I'm going to burn anywhere from 400 to 500 calories. If I'm running for an hour, I'm going to burn anywhere from, say, 800 to 900 calories. So if I have a sedentary lifestyle, which I do, I sit at a desk most of the day, talking on the phone, working on the computer. I exercise for an hour a day, but the rest of my day is sedentary. So I've got to assume I'm on the low end of calorie burning. So let's just say that I'm burning 1,300 to 1,500 calories a day just being alive, and I add a minimum of 500 calories for exercise. That gets me to between 1,800 and 2,000 calories a day. So here's my hypothesis. If I want to lose 20 pounds of belly fat, then I need to be in a calorie deficit every day. The question is, what is sustainable? What is sustainable to get me to a healthy weight and keep me at a healthy weight? So I use tools like, if I use a tool like MyFitnessPal to track my calories in and to track the calories that I burn from exercise, then I should be able to manage my weight. The next problem is, going back to the problem statement, this doesn't happen overnight. It is not fair, but you can consume way more calories, especially over the holiday season, than you're burning off. and that stuff is in you, and it's now taken its time to get back out again. So don't expect the results to happen overnight, but if you're consistent, you might have some good results. So let's talk about step number 3, test. So I've got my problem statement. I got 20 pounds of visceral belly fat I want to lose. I've got a hypothesis. If I start tracking my foods and I start tracking the amount of calories I'm burning during exercise, then I should be able to be in a 1 to 200 calorie deficit every day. Now, over the course of a month, 1 pound of belly fat is equivalent to about 3,500 calories. So the theory is that if I can, over the course of, call it 30 days, 31 days over a month, if I can be in a calorie deficit of 100 calories a day, that means in 1 month, I should be able to lose 1 pound of belly fat. If I'm in a 200 calorie deficit, maybe I'll lose 2 pounds of belly fat. You get the idea. The problem with using a scale at home is that you can't track those minute differences. And your body, depending on what time of the day you are measuring yourself or weighing yourself, you're going to get different results on the scale based on how much you sweat the night before, if you're measuring yourself in the morning, how much you peed, how full your belly is. Like, there's just so many variables. A better solution is to throw your scale away and just start measuring the numbers that are really important, which are how many calories are you consuming and how many calories are you expending every day. That's where the math is going to come from. So, we've got a problem. We've got a hypothesis. Now we're going to go out and test that hypothesis. And the way you test that hypothesis is you start creating a diet plan for yourself that is sustainable. So ask yourself, what are the things you like to eat? How much protein do you need to get in a day? How much calories do you need to get in a day? How much fats do you need to have? How much carbohydrates do you need to have? Where are you going to get those carbohydrates from? Complex carbohydrates or simple carbohydrates? Lots of choices here. The point is, depending on your lifestyle and what you do, you need carbohydrates to fuel exercise, to fuel your energy levels if you're really leading an active lifestyle. If you have more of a sedentary lifestyle, you don't need to have those simple carbohydrates. You need complex carbohydrates that come from fruits and vegetables and that provide all kinds of vitamins and minerals that are going to help you in the long run. So rather than say, I'm going to go on this one crazy diet and try to make it stick, the problem is, I could say I'm going to go on a Coca-Cola diet. Probably one of the worst things for me on the planet. But I'm going to go on that Coca-Cola diet. I'm going to eat nothing but Coca-Cola or drink Coca-Cola. And guess what? I'll guarantee you over time you're going to lose weight, but you're probably going to die sooner than later. Same thing with McDonald's. If you've ever seen Super Size Me, the guy went on a McDonald's diet. And over the course of 30 days, it pretty near killed him. So you can eat all kinds of different things. The point is you want to track what you're eating. You want to figure out what is the right portion size for me. What is the right amount of fats, carbohydrates, sodium? What do I need to survive the day that I'm going to have today? When I got into this journey of well-being many years ago, I started understanding the concept of you've got to fuel your body like a professional athlete. And a professional athlete fuels their body for the activity they're about to do. So when it comes to testing, you've got to start looking at what are the foods that I'm going to eat that are going to be able to give me the micronutrients that I need for each meal every day so that I can find a sustainable way to enjoy living and be healthy. And that requires a little bit of moderation. But in the beginning, I'm going to say you're going to have to cut back on a few things that you probably enjoy. Maybe a beer, maybe a glass of wine. Alcohol is not your friend when it comes to belly fat. So in the beginning, why not try cutting out a little bit of the known guilty parties, the extra sugar in your life, the extra alcohol in your life, all those things that you just know aren't good for you, cut those out. Just give yourself 30, 60 days and go, I'm not going to eat that stuff or drink that stuff for the next 60 days and kind of give your body a chance to reset. While you're resetting, you're trying all these different foods. You're trying to find the right diet plan that's going to work for you, or a nutrition plan that's going to work for you. And then once you find the right amounts and the right types of food that work for you, and you can start to see that, you know, your weight is starting, you're starting to feel better here, right? You're not as bloated as you used to be. You don't need a scale to tell you when you're bloated all the time. And I'm not going to get into a lot of the science because I'm not a doctor. What I can tell you is when I feel good when I'm paying attention to the food that I'm eating, I'm making better food choices, and I'm holding myself accountable. I'm being self-motivated to hold myself accountable to a meal plan that works for me. And over time, I start to see that I start attaining the physicality that I'm looking for. I start attaining the ideal weight that I'm looking for because I'm committed to eating foods that are good for me. So I would encourage you when it comes to reviewing, you know, you've tested a bunch of different things. When it comes to reviewing the food that you're eating, yeah, tools like MyFitnessPal will tell you every single day. If you log on to MyFitnessPal and you put in everything you eat, you're going to be able to review, and it gets pretty eye-opening really fast. I haven't done this for about 2 years, and I got called out on the weekend for having a gut. And I know I'm getting bigger. I actually looked in the mirror and went, really? Okay, that's not good. And that night at a party, one of my friends sitting in this chair, and he's just looking at me and goes, "Hey Dave, you got a gut. You never had that before." Yeah, no shit. I mean, yeah, I'm well aware, thank you very much. And I'm not happy about it. But I know that what I wasn't doing was I haven't been tracking my calories for about 2 years. And I've sort of gotten out of a good eating habit. And I've just kind of said, you know what? I'm older. My daughter's a brewmaster. I deserve to drink a bunch of beer. I live in wine country. I deserve to drink a bunch of wine. I'm at a point in my life where I want to relax and enjoy nice things. That includes rich foods. You know, I've got the wrong mindset. Yes, I deserve those things, but, you know, when you do it in excess, which maybe once or twice a week is excessive, that becomes problematic. So, being able to look at an app like MyFitnessPal and being able to track every day absolutely everything that you eat, it gets scary pretty quickly, and you start to realize, holy crap, I am eating way more calories than I'm burning every day. So when you're reviewing the amount of calories you're eating, what I would recommend you do is actually start at the beginning of the week and ask yourself, what should a day look like for me? What I like to do is I like to eat sort of the similar things throughout the week. So for example, I like to do an intermittent fast from say 11 o'clock at night to noon the next day. So call it a 12 to 13 hour fast. So in doing that, what I do is I don't eat a breakfast unless I have worked out in the morning, and I'll have some sort of a nutrient recovery drink after that workout. What I'm trying to do right now is align myself with when my wife works out after work. And this is actually working out pretty good because when she gets home at 5 o'clock from work, we both do a workout in that time frame and then have dinner later in the evening. So what I'm doing right now, because I've reviewed the numbers, I've reviewed my plan, I get up in the morning, I have a cappuccino. I've got the calories recorded. I have a cappuccino to kind of wake myself up, and I'll go, that's also a meal suppressant, right? Having coffee kind of suppresses your need to eat or your desire to want to eat. So it's a bit of a meal suppressant. Food suppressant? Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Tell me in the comments. But I have that coffee for breakfast, and I'll go right to noon. At noon, I have 2 pieces of light rye toast with 2 slices of oven roasted turkey, spinach, a little tablespoon of mayonnaise, salt and pepper, and I'll have a salad that is a romaine lettuce with mixed vegetables, you know, green vegetables, things like cucumbers, peppers, all that sort of stuff tossed in, and 2 tablespoons of Kraft Catalina dressing because I like that dressing. So right there, that's my first big meal of the day. And that first big meal of the day is only going to bring me in at around 400 calories. So I know, check that box, that's where I am. I know that that if I want to have a snack in the middle of the day, I can have a handful of almonds, and I've tracked that as well. I look forward to that little treat in the middle of the afternoon. And then dinner is going to be a form of protein, which is probably going to be 30 grams of protein. And it's going to be that protein with mixed vegetables and rice. That's typically my plate. And the protein can change up. On days when I want to eat vegetarian, it'll be tofu. And I'm going to make a video about how to make tofu and post that up, because I've been asked a lot of times, how do I make my crispy tofu? And I'm going to explain to you guys what it is, because most guys don't have a clue what this stuff is. It's not as bad as you think, and I'll show you a way to make it. It's really, really simple and easy. And you know what? I'm not going to say it tastes great, but it's not horrible either. So I have my dinner, and then in the evening at about, say, either 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, depending if I'm jumping in the hot tub or not, I'm going to eat a bowl of shredded wheat with bran, a banana, and walnuts with skim milk. So I know that that combination of food throughout the day is equivalent to about 1,600 calories. Now, if I'm burning 2,000 calories a day, and I'm at 1,600 calories consumed, you gotta allow for error. Okay, there's gonna be some measurement error in there somewhere. So I like to be on the safer side and say, okay, if I'm in a 300 to 400 calorie deficit every day, by the end of the month, I should be able to drop at least 2 pounds of visceral fat. So if I'm trying, if I'm trying to lose 20 pounds of visceral fat, it's gonna take me a year to get there. And in that year, the idea is I want to find a sustainable way to get through all that so that I can keep the process going. I train myself how to eat properly, and I learn what better food choices are. So after a month or two, what you need to do is get some fresh perspective. You need to ask yourself, maybe ask your partner, is this working? Can I sustain myself on what I'm eating? Am I eating the right foods that are making me feel like I have enough energy so that I'm not a miserable bear because I'm hungry all the time? You know, sometimes people want to be supportive and they don't want to point out that, hey, you're being an a-hole right now because you're hungry all the time. So maybe you need to find more nutritionally dense foods to eat. They're going to make you feel more satiated than what maybe currently you're eating. And that's a big trick to finding out what works for you. But again, as part of this testing, this pivoting process, this 6-step process, you know, it doesn't happen overnight, but so long as you feel like you're moving forward, then you can stay self-motivated to try to realize the goal that you've set for yourself. And then the last step is refine and repeat. So again, we talked about this. After you've sort of reflected over the process, you're refining your process. You're finding the foods that are going to really work well for you, and you're just going to repeat it. You're going to repeat it so that it becomes your habit. And you know what? You got to enjoy life. So go out and enjoy life when you can. Have that glass of beer, have that glass of red wine, whatever it is you need to have on those special occasions. I always like to say, you can have your birthday cake. Just don't eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, be aware of what you're eating. Be aware of moderation and factor that stuff into your weekly routine. Now, I will say that I always use Friday night as date night with my wife. And I tend to not, if I go over in my calorie count, I really try not to overdo it, but we like to share a bottle of wine, and we like to have, some nice homemade gourmet pizzas. And I just try to think about those things in ways that, how can I make that really sort of a nice meal without blowing the calorie count? And there are ways to do that depending on how you make the pizza. So yeah, I mean, what I want you to do, let's just recap for a second here. In order that 6-step process, in order to pivot, if you're feeling stuck, and in my case, I was talking about my gut. I've been stuck for a couple of years with this increasingly little belly here that I'm not happy about. So I want to bring that back down. I'm at currently about 190, 195. I want to bring that back down to 175. That's going to make me a happy camper again, because then I'll fit into all my Ironman t-shirts properly again and not look like that guy that's got the too small t-shirt and the big belly sticking out. I don't like that. So to repeat, what you want to do, recap, is you want to create a problem statement. Make it obvious. Create a problem statement for yourself. Go, hey, yeah, this is a problem that I want to solve. If I eat, hypothesis, if I eat better, if I track what I'm eating, then over time, I should be able to get to the outcome that I want to have, which is to lose those 20 pounds, right? Then I test. I test. I record what I'm bringing in. I record what I'm burning out. I try to find that sweet spot of things that I like. That's part of reviewing, getting perspective, and refining your process so that you can find something that is sustainable. That is the big key word. If you find the foods that make you feel satiated, that provide you with the right amount of energy, but don't cause you to eat in excess, stay in that calorie deficit or calorie neutral if you're happy with where your weight is at, that's the process to pivot. And because you understand the process for pivoting, you're going to stay self-motivated because when you're frustrated and you don't understand why, that can demotivate you really quickly. So part of this process of pivoting is understanding the process so that you can pivot successfully and stay motivated to keep moving forward. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you've got any comments about what's worked for you, whether it be with a diet goal, a fitness goal, how you've pivoted from one way of life, one lifestyle to another. If you've got any stories you want to share or advice you want to share, drop it in the comments. Please consider subscribing. Again, we've got lots of great information, lots of different perspective. We're going to keep throwing it out there even beyond our 30-day self-motivation challenge. And in tomorrow's video, we're going to be talking about how to invest in yourself first so that you've got lots in the bank before the end of the day hits and you've just got nothing left to invest. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. And if you are following along before I sign off, we are on day 18. Almost forgot to check that off. We are quickly getting to our day 30. We're getting there. And if you're following along at home, I hope you've got a chart made up like this. I hope you've set a goal for yourself and that you're using all these good strategies. Every day, all I want you to do is watch one of these videos, learn a new perspective for how you can stay self-motivated so that you can keep pushing through and be that resilient father, that resilient dad I know you can be. So we'll see you in tomorrow's video, which should be right about there. Bye for now.